On that note, let's jump into NFL Week 2 here. Other AFC North matchup that's happened yesterday before this Browns Steelers matchup tonight. Baltimore Ravens have jumped out to the front of the pack in the AFC North with a decisive victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Dominant on both sides of the ball. Lamar Jackson had a really, really spectacular performance. And the Bengals, I mean, this is preseason week 2 for Joe Burrow, and he looked to have re-injured his calf again. I was assuming it wasn't healthy, and he didn't have that connectivity with his receivers yet this season on the new updates they've done to the playbook. And so I was not high on them in this week either, even though all the experts were picking Cincinnati. I wish I had it on record. Maybe we do. We'll go back, check the tape, but I'd like to get credited for a result on this one as the Ravens go 2-0 and the Bengals are in a whole heap of trouble here at
Yeah.
0-2.
Are the alarm bells sounding yet?
No, because they started 0-2 last year,
Okay.
but with Burrow being hurt, that definitely puts them in a worse position than they were last
And
year. I just think this roster is too talented to not be in the mix in the wild card, but they're digging themselves a hole.
it's a bad offensive line, eh?
Yeah, and they've tried to address it in certain places. I think Ravens defense and oh goodness, who did Cincinnati play in week
The
1? The
Browns.
Browns. In those conditions, like I think those are two pretty tough defenses to play early in the season, but it's not going to get any easier in the AFC with some of the other teams that they have to play, especially within their own division with the
Just
Steelers as well.
when you have like a semi-injured quarterback, like that becomes so much more important and relevant.
Yeah, they have historically not been able to protect Joe Burrow as well. So
Mhm.
not really something you can address now as the season get underway because you can't really find a quality offensive lineman just in the free
Yeah.
agency market. But we'll see if there's other things they can do play call wise, scheme wise, that could give Burrow a little bit more time back there once he's back and help healthy, hopefully. I guess quick shout out to Patrick Mahomes while we're speaking about Burrow because he got his contract restructured today on his birthday so that he is going to now re-become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL for the next 4 years. They've restructured his deal so he's going to get 216 million over the next
Mm.
4 years.
Not bad.
He's almost to the level of Anthony Davis, but not quite.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, kind of a distinct difference between those two sports, but we've talked about that before. Let's keep rolling here on the Chiefs. They scuffle through a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their offense still looks very incohesive, and he just doesn't have the weapons. And I mean, Travis Kelce's distracted by dating Taylor Swift, which I don't blame the guy. That's a lot to handle, but
That's going to be very smooth, and there's no.
yeah, it
Oh
just
God.
it's hard to focus on the offense when that whole sideshow is happening,
Yeah,
right?
you've got to be like running through the lyrics she might write about your future breakup, like every
E-
time you're on the field.
exactly. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. But they still get the win over the Jaguars, which is an important conference win for them to get early in the season. The Seattle Seahawks set their season back on track with a win over the Detroit Lions. Always fun when these two play. We remember the wild card deciding game last year, and there's not a whole ton of offense or defense, pardon me, from either of these teams. Geno Smith slinging all over the field, and Jared Goff finally broke his no interception streak. He was third place all time in consecutive pass attempts, and finally had it broken on Sunday there. The Buffalo Bills blow out the Las Vegas Raiders. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Packers on a late last minute field goal. Jordan Love had the funniest play of the weekend. The O lineman did not snap the ball when he was trying to sneak, and so everyone was frozen as he basically just stumbled into the back of one of his linemen trying to sneak and was expecting the ball, and it didn't come. The Los Angeles Rams hang with the 49ers. Puka Nakua, the most receptions by a first-year receiver through his first 2 games ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he is catching the ball a ton. And when Cooper Cup comes back, this Rams offense actually looks a lot more deadly than everyone thought it would at the start of the season. Unfortunately for the Rams, the Niners, they just have too much talent. I think they're probably the best team in the NFL right now, barring any injuries, and they win that game. I think the top three teams in the NFL are the Niners. I think the Miami Dolphins are there as well. They go 2-0 on the season with a win over the New England Patriots. Their offense is unstoppable with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa.
The only highlight of the week that made it on was the blocked field goal.
Yes, yeah, the play call by Bill Belichick. I mean, something like that happens and the entire internet goes, why doesn't everyone do this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he literally had to time it perfect. Like, that's why you see the Troy Polamalu highlights where he jumps over the line. He did that twice in his career.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do it. It was just a well-timed play, big block, but the Patriots can't get it done, and they start their season 0-2. And then I think the other team in that top three is the Dallas Cowboys. Not
Oh,
necessarily for their offense, although CeeDee Lamb looked phenomenal yesterday, but they have a top three defense in the league, and Micah Parsons is currently a game wrecker. He's moving differently out there. Now fully fledged, like I think third year in the league, has all the tools and now the necessary experience of going up against these guys for 2 seasons, peak athletic prime. When he runs, he can basically decide, like, I'm going to get by you without even you touching me. He doesn't necessarily even engage linemen at the line of scrimmage. He stutter steps them and then just glides past them. He's so fast right now. And he's on track for 18 sack season, kind of one per game, which is going to be up there in the top sack seasons of all time. And so really, really fun to watch him so far. And this Cowboys defense has been dominant. They would have not given up. They would have been through 2 games without giving up a touchdown if Garrett Wilson had literally made the best reception of the season so far, stealing an interception away and then taking it to the house for a 60-yard touchdown. But the Cowboys defense looks very, very good so far in the early season. The Chargers defense does not, and the whole Chargers team continues to just be bad voodoo. They lose in overtime to the Tennessee Titans on a field goal and start their season 0-2, which only makes the Broncos start marginally better as they just keep disappointing me. Haven't made the playoffs since the Super Bowl in 2015. And for a while there, the Super Bowl could pave over the pain, but it's 8 years now and nothing. And Sean Payton came and we thought it would be improvement, but Russell Wilson, after the first 15 plays of the game, is not good. And they have now lost to the Raiders and Commanders. And crazy moment to end the game. 50-yard Hail Mary gets batted twice and caught for a touchdown. And then they need the 2-point conversion to send the game to overtime, and they can't get it converted. I don't care about the pass interference call. They didn't get it done. And there's no chance they're making it to the playoffs now at 0-2 because they have to play the Chiefs twice. They have to play the Chargers twice. And it's just so depressing that this is the way, like, they're going to have to play the Cowboys and the Eagles. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I'm already out on the Broncos. I need a new team to cheer for. If anyone wants to hit us up in the comments.
Still don't have one, so maybe we can find one to jump on together for the rest of the season.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, fantasy player of the week. Brian Robinson torches the Broncos for 27 fantasy points. He was going for $1 and $2 in a lot of auction draft leagues. And so if you were picking him up this week and starting him, kudos to you. That's a massive bump. There were some big scores put up in fantasy this week, but I always try to pick guys who aren't expected to put up big numbers. So shout out Brian Robinson. Also share last name. So that's always a plus in my book as well. And that's it for week 2 of the NFL.